I am currently filming this video in my own permanent hell. My phone and my laptop are broken. I'm in the dark ages right now. This is my only technology I have left. It's like a survival vlog at this point, which is very fitting for the book I'm going to be reviewing. I'm sure by the time you're watching this, I will have resolved this issue, but for the now, I'm in a very anxious state of mind. I haven't talked to my parents or taken a selfie in 24 hours. We shall live until tomorrow when I get picked up to go fix my phone. Anyway, today, or rather tonight, because it is literally 12:01 a.m., I was gonna do a review of The Distance from Me to You by Marina Gessner, which ironically I was able to finish this book all in one day because my phone and computer were broken and I literally had nothing else to do except like 5 hours of homework. But I chose to do this instead. This book follows a girl named McKenna, and she and her best friend have decided that before they go off to college, they're gonna hike the 2,000-mile Appalachian Mountain Trail together. After a turn of events, McKenna realizes she's going to have to go alone, and so she sets off for this really long trek. And along the way, she meets a certain someone, a certain boy, and of course they start to travel together and learn things about each other, and shenanigans ensue. It's a book about wilderness and friendship and survival, and I gave this book 4 stars. Let's talk about it. I'm just gonna mention right now up front, I might have just been in the perfect mood to read this because I felt like I was just in the dark ages. I was away from my technology. I was completely isolated from communication with other people. I mean, I had face-to-face communication, but I have literally 3 friends on this campus, so I felt very isolated. And so this book was all about this girl was gonna go on this nature hike and leave behind Instagram and all those other social media things. And so I felt very similar to this character because we were both just not having the entire internet ordeal. My main observation about this book is that it is pretty predictable. And at this point, I think any YA book has the same sort of arc. In this case, it wasn't a frustrating type of predictability. There you go. I'm literally filming a review because I have to leave tomorrow. Oh my gosh! In this case, it wasn't a frustrating sort of predictability. It was more of a comforting predictability, as in I was glad it didn't take any lurches or really complicated plot twists because I kind of liked how everything sort of tumbled together. Even if it wasn't a direction that I was expecting, it was still nice. I still appreciated that it took place in such an unprecedented environment and it was so adventuristic that I don't think adventuristic is a word, but it was so new and interesting that the predictability didn't even bother me. Plus, if you're looking for something light and fun and happy, the predictability can be your best friend just because it offers cuteness and reliability that your characters are gonna be okay. So going along with that, I again didn't really mind that it was a bit insta-lovey. I mean, if you meet someone on a trail and you know them for a couple of weeks, it's not like, OMG, I trust you like heck. So that part of it was a little bit sketchy for me, but it was just so cute. I got over it pretty quickly. And as far as like the whole camping and hiking ordeal, I obviously don't have experience, so I wouldn't be able to tell you if it's the most accurate and reliable information out there. I do know in the author's note in the back, she said this is a fictionalized trail, and so if you're gonna plan on hiking, go and find an actual trail and not go off this book. So I don't know if the author has experience or anything, so if you're an avid hiker and you want to read this because you're like, oh, let's see what it's like, I don't know if it would please you or not, so just like disclaimer. But one of the main things I loved about this book is that it was just so darn addicting and interesting. Like I've been saying, it takes place in the wilderness, and I never read books about hikers. I've been dying to read Wild by Cheryl Strayed, which is it's a memoir about her hiking the Rocky Mountains, I think. No. She hiked. And I've just been really digging like memoirs about adventures, and even though this is fiction, I just was in love with the scenery and the topic and just the entire concept of going on a self-discovery type of migration southward. I don't know what that even means, but I did enjoy it so much. I couldn't put it down. I stayed up till 3:30 reading it all in one sitting. It reaches a spot where the story turns from this dazzling adventure and hike into a survival story, and I think that twist really added a lot of gripping horror to that book when I was not expecting. I've just been talking about how predictable it was and I'm just like, well, I did not expect that gruesome twist, but it again just kept me on my toes and I loved it. There were a couple of times, especially toward those survival parts of the book, where I felt like McKenna just made really unwise decisions for herself, and once again, I'm not a camper, so I can't advocate and say, well, if I was in the wilderness, I would not do that. But there were certainly times where I was like, people are dying and you are doing that instead of helping. And it just, little things. But in the end, I just loved the adventure of the entire thing, and I thought it was a really good, light, solid 4-star read. If you're looking for something cute, or you want to read something about a girl going on an adventure and a hike and Appalachian trails and a really strong, resilient main character that I actually really liked, I would recommend this to you. And this cover is just so minimalist. I adore it. So those are all my thoughts about this book. I thought it was really interesting and I couldn't put it down, and I read it all in one day, which is the first time that's happened in a while. Let me know if any of you have read this book, and if so, what you thought about it. And until next time, thank you for watching and goodbye.